Is your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday lunchtime edition of the flagship podcast from Talking Town, the show that delivers every single week, even if sadly Ipswich Town do not. Today, we're going to travel through the next hour or so, reliving the horrors, and there were some horrors of yesterday, with the spin only Talking Town can put on. In addition to what's got your goat this week, and I would love this week to hear about your goats in the chat. Tell me what has got your goat this week. And of course, we have the Mogul's eye-catching story. And how could we forget crunching tackle? A week which had 9 points on offer have ended with 6 coming back to Portman Road in the bank. Did we hit your expected points return, or did we sadly fall just a little bit short? And if short, by how many? I've seen and I've heard some various and wild opinions over the last 24 hours, from players on loan being no good to needing time to playoff chances that are dead and just in need of burying. Is that you? Or do you feel the playoffs are, of course, still achievable? Before we step forward into the world of Talking Town, I must first thank you, every single member of our YouTube members and our Ko-Fi fifth standers. Without you wonderful fifth standers and you brilliant YouTube members, I say it often, but I couldn't be sat here today doing the show, or tomorrow, or Wednesday, or whenever you happen to be watching our content. Listen, honestly, your support can take whatever your financial situation dictates. But from tiers starting at just $4.99, I personally believe, and of course you would say I believe this, but I do honestly believe it's incredible value for money. And Elizabeth Fry, ladies and gentlemen, what can you get for that these days? In fact, well, not even still in circulation, but what can you get with that these days? Well, at Talking Town, it goes a long, long way and provides you the core of Talking Town Sundays, Talking Town Extra Time, Matchday preview, press conference reaction, pre-game shows, and of course our Fans React full-time show, which over 3,000 people have tuned in and watched this week across the 3 shows. That doesn't even mention our shows such as transfer specials, away day guides, talking cricket, talking darts, talking F1, all thrown in as bonus content. Bonus! Good grief. $4.99 truly goes a long way at Talking Town. The value is there, the quality is there, the depth of opinion is there, and of course, the Talking Town flavour is certainly there. Each show makes your $4.99 worth something like 20 pence. So if you did $8.99, whatever you did, it's incredible value. 20 pence. You can't buy much. I mean, even Freddo's worth 20p anymore. Absolutely crazy. So if you can, please do support us through the Ko-Fi or YouTube memberships. Right, Bob Geldof, give us your bloody money moment over. Let's go ahead and bring in the media mogul, because me and you, Matt, we need a word, sunshine. Matthew Phillips, there he is. There he is.
Now. What have I done?
Yes. You bloody need to be right. We're going to kick things off nice and early. Me and you need a word, because something has transpired, which is, it will send shockwaves up and down the Talking Town community. Will shock many people. Will turn Cruncher grey. Fuck knows I'm going grey. Shocking scenes have happened. So this morning, Sunday mornings, I look at the prediction league. And you've only got to move up the table, Phillips. Cheater McCheaterson. There he is. Look.
Who's below now? Who's below now?
Well, Martin, I think that's me, but I'm keeping that one quiet. Brian Dow, Mark Alger, Gavin Turner, all need to hang their heads in shame. But there he is, Cheater McCheaterson. You must have cheated some way, somehow. 2 1-1 draws. How have you done this? This is witchcraft.
Form is temporary, class is permanent. I told you. Mystic Mogul. Yeah, good. Good place about that. It was Fleetwood and Cambridge and Emery Hughes.
It's lucky I finished my banana porridge because I would have choked on my banana.
I was going to message you last night to say 6 points in the bin, but I thought you might find a way of deleting it. Like you did my other 12 points.
I searched. I really desperately tried. Went through the WhatsApp, went through the name. You've done everything by the book. Absolutely.
Oh, I don't make a joke anymore. Get me points talked off.
Disgraceful. But while we're on the subject, it was a good week for Anthony Steele, who moved himself up into the top. So you got 6 points now, Matt, but it's still a long way from the cruncher.
Why can't I be on the front screen here? Look, they're on 6.
You have they're not. Well, yeah, but they've
Fisherman,
been playing
6.
long. Yeah, but you can't upset Mike.
No, I'll probably win the title now. I think now I'm on the roll.
Well, this is it. Anthony Steele, the top players didn't get any points apart from that Steele, who moved himself into the top 4. Unbelievable. I'm top 5. Unbelievable week. So, yeah, top work there, Mr. Phillips. I couldn't believe it. Right. Talking of things I could not believe, Rich, Matt, he's travelled all that way. All that way. And I don't even think he saw a shot target. Here he is. You put a picture on your Facebook last night, and I couldn't help but put the ha-ha emoji. All that way, and he didn't even see a shot.
What proper fans do, Martin? They're not armchair fans like you two. Me, Callie, Colin, we were all there yesterday, and it was an absolute wet fart, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. What time did you leave to go there?
Big shout out to Budge, who come with me and the boys yesterday. He supplied Greg's sausage rolls, Matt, and we had, I think it was bacon and something turnovers. It was great. He supplied the food. I done the driving, and we left about, I think it was about 9:30, 10:15. It was a good day.
And what time did you get home?
Don't know, about 9:30ish.
I had 2 calls yesterday. I had Rich and Budge and the Crunch Bunch phone me, and then Colin phoned me from the coach.
Lush.
He had ham and pickle sandwiches, or rolls, should I say.
He done well, Matt, because he rang me on the way up, and he was at Peterborough Services, and I said, "How many have you eaten?" And he said, "I've had 2." And I said, you can have 1 more. That's your limit going up, because you need to save yourself 3. Yeah. But he told me a very funny story. Colin had a rather large gentleman sat next to him on the way up, and I don't think he had a lot of room on his seat, but he was a happy bunny on the way home, because this guy stayed in Sheffield for the night. So Colin had a whole 2 seats for himself on the way back.
I saw a picture of his ham and his ham sandwiches.
I'll tell you what I did see a picture of.
Looked a bit dry.
Someone on the bus watching us 3.
You know it. Absolutely. Of course. Kelly left at 11:30 and got there at 1. Do love an away day closer than the home games. Yeah, absolutely.
I was surprised Colin's crisp of choice was hula hoops. I can't imagine Rich eating hula hoops, I've got to say. Now, big O's.
Beef hula hoops are my favourite. I like beef hula hoops.
Really?
Beef hula hoops. Really?
Yeah, spot on.
Yuck. Right. Okay. Look, I want to kick things off with our goats. I want to get them out of the way because I'm in a goat mood.
How many likes, anyway? How many likes for the show are we going for today?
I don't know.
At least 100, surely.
100 likes. Okay.
Press.
130 likes then, people. That's what we want. Please do. Lloyd's in the room. Welcome in, Lloyd. Lee's here. Kay's obviously here. EJ Norris is here. Carl Brooks is obviously checking in. Michael Finch putting it out there and wetting the flap. We need more mobile strikers because something's wrong with all the possession and no shots on target.
I didn't get the memo, Carl, because Martin's still not sent me one of them T-shirts. He's got one in that room. And you did say you're going to send it to me about a year ago. You said it's on your list.
Oh, it is on my list. Yeah, it is. Today's list consisted of Hoover, long-handled dustbin, birds, because you brought a budge back, but not the right budge, and frames.
You didn't give me the postcode. I would have bought them rare birds.
Now he says it. Now he says it. Right, I want to kick things off with the goat because I'm in a venting mood, so we'll get that out. Right, 1 minute to convince the public at home why your goat should be the winner this week. We've had 2 winners so far. I was last week with my tribalism among football fans, and Rich, you were the first winner with COVID. So, Rich, what is your goat this week? Tell us.
I think you've got the. I did send you the memo this morning. There you go. So we're all going to MK. We sold 5,000 tickets. That guy up there, even Matt Phillips is going, right? Matt is a real short guy, small guy. Who wants to be waving an inflatable banana? Because Matt won't see. He'll have to stand on his seat, won't he, if we go in it? No, listen. We've done it before when we went to MK. We've done it at Watford, I think. Gov.
Yeah.
Now, inflatables, not for me. I was going to say get in the bin, but we don't want them in the bin. We want to save the planet, don't we? We don't want plastic waste and all this crap. Yeah. Like you say, if you want to spend your £10 on some inflatables, don't bother. Send that man up there. Send it to him. Send it to him. Come on.
All right. That should go. I like it. Rick, Matt, what's your goat?
My goat this week. Well, when I was younger, I really wanted to be a dustman because back in the 70s and the 80s, it looked a good gig. You could ride on the back. All the men used to ride on the back, not in the cab. Looked great. But I've fallen out of dustman, unfortunately, over the last few years.
Why? What have they done?
They've militarised the process. It annoys me. And I often feel like I'm living in the Truman Show. Everyone is actors. If I go around the corner of our road, they'll be there, parked in the middle. I can't get round. The geezer's like really bad-tempered in the truck. He's not going to move for me, even though if he moved a few yards over there, everyone will be able to get through. So, and we're paying for this. It's council tax money, but it feels like they're doing you a favour. Annoys me. Dustman.
It does. I'm gonna have to sort of chime in on the back of that. I've got a picture I'm going to show you now. I'm going to upload it because when you said dustman, I was like, yeah, I'm all over that. I can get behind that because I've got a garage which I've converted into my bird room, and in front of my garage are my bins, right? So they're just basically on the roadside.
Well, I had a good view of them when I come and picked you up when we went to the FCA because you wouldn't let me in the house. I'll just see them bins out there. 2
things people don't do: come in my house and and get me on the phone.
I don't want to deliver them cupboards. Can I come in for a cup of tea?
We'll have to see.
Doesn't look likely, does it?
Doesn't look like that. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Right? That's where my bins are. That's my garage. They didn't empty them one day because I hadn't put them where the neighbour had put them.
Well, that's what. There you go. You have to put them out.
What do you mean put them out, man? They're fucking sat right there. It's 5 yards.
That's to go next to that one.
It's 5 yards.
No.
Stop being a lazy tyke and get over there. Stop being a lazy tyke and just get over there and sort it out. Crazy. Yeah. My goat. Callie says his goat is Raheem Harper. Josh Russell, new member on YouTube. Thank you very much, Josh. We appreciate it. What have we got? Callie's goat is Backinson over Harper. Lone versus Perm. Get Rax playing and send Tyreek Backinson back. Tyreek Backinson
back. Send him back. Insert.
Yeah.
Like it.
No, I don't. No, I'm trying to read it at the same time. I've got a message coming through. I was thinking, what? Callie said, our binmen are on strike till April. Private companies doing it now, so I'm bidding Coventry Council for it.
The top is one big dustbin, Callie, anyway.
Be fair. That's not nice. That's not nice.
I'm only joking.
My goat is outrage, right? People get outraged about everything. And this caught my eye a couple of weeks back. I've just remembered it. Dairy ad banned after viewers complained it encouraged unsafe behaviour, right? So a Dairy advert showing 2 girls hanging upside down from a football goal in cheese being banned following complaints it encourages unsafe behaviour. Then over the weekend, we've had cancel Spotify because Jordan Peterson came on Joe Rogan's podcast and people didn't like what he had to say. Whatever happened to just, if you don't like something, if you don't want to, watch something, listen to something, don't agree with something, just scroll past or just ignore it or don't buy it. Must we get outraged at literally fucking everything? That Dairy advert, unsafe. Who's bothered to complain about 2 girls?
There is one thing I can see about that. Can you put that up again?
Yeah.
If that was Matt, he wouldn't be able to hang from that goal. He'd need a five-a-side.
Well, no, that is true. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it's because they're upside down, and people complain saying it encourages them to eat while doing things that are unsafe, like hanging upside down.
Who's going to eat upside down? Come on.
I know. Absolutely. There we go. I'm in a venting sort of mood. The poll is now. The poll is now.
Funny you should mention Spotify. They're going to be rumored. They're going to be Barcelona's new sponsor next season, and the new camp will change to being called Spotify Stadium or some nonsense.
Really?
Yeah. Watch this space. Yeah.
Haven't they come down though? Barcelona signing people like Traore. Oh my
Lord. I can't go there just yet. We've got to meet the story on that one.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't know.
Rob Smith, 100% Gov. The easily offended always get the news. Lloyd, I don't think it was COVID. I think it was climate change. He said climate was everything, and you couldn't factor in everything. I don't know fully what it was, but if you don't like it, don't watch it. So that's my go. That's now in the chat. Moving it on to football, because that's why I'm really quite grumpy, if I'm honest. I got really excited for yesterday. Really up for it, thinking it's great. We've had 2 wins. This is a good chance to measure ourselves. And once again, we get beaten. But a defeat I can take, Rich. But it was so limp and pathetic. A lot like
£10.
Where?
£10.
Josh Russell. He's won the lottery, Josh. Big up, Josh. We love you. We appreciate that. So that's going to make my mood a bit
happier. The Irish lottery. You get more money out of that Irish lottery.
You do.
Yeah.
But honestly, right? It's when you make a cup of coffee and you get yourself a nice chocolate digestive or a custard cream or whatever, and you think this is going to taste so good, and you dunk it in the tea or the coffee, and it's a soggy, fall in your cup biscuit. That's what yesterday was. I was so excited for it, Rich, and it was dog. That's why
Lee Brown has absolutely nailed it there in the chat. Now, how many times 100%. Have we gone to a big game, either at home or away? We take a big following. Yesterday, just under 3,000.
Big up, Jake.
We just do not. We just do not show up.
No, that's the point. And Lewis made a great comment to start the show. Whether win or lose, up and down, don't get too high, don't get too low. The problem is we don't win the games we're supposed to win.
And another phrase I do not want to hear on this platform is "we go again."
We go again. I tweeted that last night. We go
nonsense.
Again.
It's nonsense. Ian from the cricket show, he was tweeting last night, Matt. He replied to me and he hates that phrase, "we go again."
Can we just pause, because Ian Houston makes a great comment. What about Marks and Spencer having to change the name of Midget Gems because it offends short people? I did read that. I was outraged.
That's a classic.
Midget Gems are nice.
Well, we're living in these days.
What are ice gems? Are they the same ones? Ice gems?
No, you might upset Iceman.
Well, you've got the same. Aren't Disney supposedly remaking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Yes. They don't have dwarves in it.
No, it was Peter Dinklage. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
very odd.
But there we go. But talk to me about yesterday, because obviously that's what really met. It's just and I hate Wednesday because my brother supports them, and I'm not a big fan of his.
Now we're getting to the root of the problem here.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes. I had Neil round for dinner last night. It just sort of sours the evening. More because he's in my
That's a great one. Ipswich Jules there. The new highway code.
Yes.
What about them rules? There is some nonsense rules in there.
Yeah.
Crossing at a junction now. You have to give priority to people who are crossing at a junction. Who fucking crosses the road at a junction anyway?
Well, if you ever move to Stowmarket, mate, you realise they don't look at the rules of the road anyway. They just cross when they want to.
I didn't think Wednesday were great shakes, Martin, but when I looked at the highlights this morning, we were really lucky we were still in the game at half time.
Yeah.
The game could quite easily have been over. We started all right the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the goal. We give a real poor goal away, but I just thought that first half we were never in control of that game. We give the ball away on a number of occasions. I counted maybe 3 or 4 times. We passed the ball straight out for a throw-in. Bon up front, it didn't stick. I think Chaplin had the worst game I've seen him have in the Town shirt. I thought he was really, really poor. But I've given Lee Evans quite a lot of stick on this platform. And I thought yesterday, I said we'd miss Morsey, but we massively missed him as well because we had no one in that midfield. I know Idris, he probably had to play yesterday because of obviously Tom Carroll.
We've got a team full of shaggers, haven't we? Literally.
The boys have been busy, haven't they? The boys have been busy.
But not for Durex, is it?
he probably had to come in and play. He didn't have a great game. I thought he actually got better second half, and I probably would have kept him on, and I'd have taken Atkinson off. But we never had the control in the middle of the field. And yeah, it improved after half time, but we huffed and puffed, and there was at no stage when I was there, and probably you watching as well, guys. I never thought we were going to equalise. I never thought we were going to score. He had an easy afternoon, didn't he, Peacock Farrell? The only one save he had was from his own player in the first half, and he's he could have got his deck chair out, Matt, there second half, put his towel out, and just had a cocktail. Put his sunglasses on and just chilled out.
This is it. And Idris sort of took a big bulk of the criticism yesterday, Matt, particularly on social media. And do you think it was just? Do you think it was fair? Do you think the young man had as bad a game as some perhaps were painting out?
Well, yeah, certainly in the first half. But I mean, again, it's not really his fault when he's fourth choice. As Rich said, you're missing players. And other than this season, we've never seen him play in that more central role. So you're asking someone that we know they don't really see having a short-term future at Town because they want to stick him out on loan. I probably would have put Harper in there in all honesty.
Thank you.
Just out of the fact that he's had more experience playing in that role.
He's another one who's played no football lately.
He's not played any football either.
No. When did they last play a game? Either of them. We were a bit short-handed yesterday. We were. In the middle of the park.
Suspension, injury, partner giving birth. Suddenly you're down to your fourth and fifth choices. So he didn't do very well in the first half. And I listened to the Sheffield Wednesday commentary to see what they were thinking of us. And they were saying every time Mizuni got the ball and was passing it, they called it football for football's sake. They said, look, Ipswich can have all this possession if they want. They're one down and ain't going anywhere, which was kind of what made me think back to that kind of when people were saying it was like a Lambert and Cook performance in terms of lots of possession, particularly going anywhere. Yeah. So that's the reason why I think it fell down in midfield. Poor old Backinson. I mean, he's thrown into the deep end, isn't he? With Evans getting injured before Atkinson. Played all right, I thought, at Wimbledon. Then he's suddenly thrown in again, in a really huge game against Sheffield Wednesday. Dare I say 6 points? But yeah, the middle two is where we lost it.
And Backinson's on certainly a player we're going to have to cover today because he's got his fair share of criticism and plaudits, it has to be said. But I said in the intro, 6 points from 9. Are we where you thought we would be this time last week in terms of points return, or are we a bit short? What are we on track? Would you have said 6 from 9 after Accrington?
Well, it's 6. Well, it's 12 points. I'm right in thinking it's 12 points from 6 games.
Yes,
which is 2 points a game. You'd have to be genius to let that one out. That's well above what Cook was averaging for us.
That's not hard.
And we'll have to keep averaging that if we are to keep the small flame that burns for the playoffs. And it is quite a small flame at the moment. But as Mike said on the show yesterday, and I think in the comments, or he said on Twitter, there's still a lot of games to go. Look, our next 2 games are going to be against the bottom 2. So there's chances to put runs together. But we know you didn't need to be Einstein yesterday to work out going to Sheffield Wednesday was with a threadbare midfield was going to be difficult. And it finished 1-0, and therefore that's what it was. What about everyone was jumping on the Selena bandwagon yesterday?
But that phrase threadbare midfield, was it really threadbare, Rich? Like you got Raheem Harper, who say what you like about player of the year, etc., but loads of plaudits when we signed him. Loads of people saying what a player we could have on our hands. Other clubs interested. Hasn't really been given an opportunity. If we're going to sort of give grace to everybody a part of that early squad, you had Tyreek Backinson in on loan from Bristol City, only playing Championship football. You have a change of formation if you wanted to. You haven't got to be so rigid in one way or another. Was it a threadbare? I mean, you still could have done or should have done better, surely. Like no shots on target. That's
yeah. Look, Backinson, he cramps up at the end. He's played 2 games there in 4 or 5 days, and he probably wouldn't have. He'd have been eased in, wouldn't he? If you'd have had Morsey and Evans, he'd have probably played 20 minutes here and there off the bench.
Yeah,
but he's had to hit the ground running, and I didn't think he had a great game, Martin. To be honest, he gave the ball away.
He put that nice cross in which Bond missed, and I think Thompson was at the far post. The ball bounced too high, didn't it? It was very bumpy.
I don't want to just signal out him or Idris. I think yesterday, the whole 10, Christian Walton to get man of the match. He was the only one on that field who probably...
Not Wolfie.
I thought Wolfie was okay, but I I'm not giving anyone other 6s and 5s, you know? And like I said before, and Mike, this is why we are where we are in the league. When we have a bad performance, it's not just one or two. It's the whole team. Yeah. And this is why it's about consistency. It is about consistency. The best teams are at the top of the league because when they're not playing well, they can dig out a result. It's like, that was like Bolton all over again. And you're like Cheltenham away. You're like Morecambe at home. It's too many times this season. And I'm not blaming Kieran McKenna. He's been here 5 minutes. It's still, I see the fisherman saying yesterday, he messaged me, too many changes. Yeah, but Mike, he had to make 2 anyway yesterday. Your left back and your centre midfielder. And I think everyone else on this platform would have said, well, I definitely did Friday night. Bon, Selena and Chaplin come back into the team. This is what football is like in 2022. It's rotation. It's not playing every single week the same team over and over again. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen nowadays. And we had a good side out there. We had attacking players on the pitch, but for one reason or another yesterday, it didn't work. Wednesday conceded, I think, 11 goals in the last 4 games. So Darren Moore, he signed Harley Dean, who I thought had a good game for them. They made it difficult for us, you know. They got that early goal. Colin said, we don't give them a goal in the first 15 minutes. And it was a real poor goal. We've given them a foot up in the game. Yeah. You know, there. And I know we can say, I heard Kieran McKenna, Martin messaged me, the pitch was difficult. It's the same for both teams, you know. We were all playing on that same bit of grass.
Yeah, but you lied to us on Friday. You said pitches weren't bad anymore.
Well,
thing was awful.
It wasn't. Awful. It wasn't that bad. Come on. If you're looking at football look at Derby County. You look at them pitches. Ipswich Town v Man United was on the big match on ITV yesterday when we played them in 81. Yeah. An absolute muddy. And they managed to play football. I know they had better players then, but I'm not having that excuse the surface was difficult. Was bound to. But I was disappointed with Wednesday as a whole, really, Max. It was empty seats. So we're under a big team, isn't they?
We were talking about it. It's on the phone, weren't we, Rich? I mean, what is it? Just shy of 40,000. What was the crowd? 23.
23.
Yeah.
On a weekend where I don't know if Blade did play.
It costs a lot of money. It's not cheap to go to football nowadays, Martin. You know, you go to the game like yesterday. We drove up there. You got something to eat. You get your program. You get your parking. Football's not cheap anymore. 23,000. It's a decent turnout. You know, but they're like us. They're underperforming this season, but they've still got 2 games in hand over us. And this is what I'm saying about the playoffs now. Lee Brown put in the chat a little while back there. Oxford playing the week their game in hand. If they win that, they're 11 points clear of us. Yeah. That is way too much. With this team we've got, we are not consistent enough to go on a run of 6-7 games where we're going to win every single game. The mountain gets bigger every single defeat that we have. And we can all say, we got Gillingham, then we got Doncaster, and then we go to MK, another massive following. But the players have to take responsibility. When these big games come, they have to stand up and they have to get a result. You can't blame the manager all the time. No. You can't blame the manager all the time. The players have to look at themselves. Look at the goal yesterday. We'll talk about that soon. It's a catalogue of errors.
It really was. But one thing that was missing, Matt, and you sort of touched on it a little bit, was the people that often criticise those that want Selena, maybe his loans terminate. That they suddenly were very quiet and missing off social media yesterday. Because talk to me about Burson's performance. One of the top players at our club. Did he perform as such?
What do you think?
No, I'm asking you. I asked the question.
I know what you think. You didn't think he was still on the pitch. Yeah, disappointing. Look, I'll keep saying this till I'm
slightly.
I do like Bursan Selena. I was buzzing when he came back.
But I thought he was the one player yesterday who actually tried to make things happen.
Yeah, you thought he did all right, didn't you? Yeah. I mean,
in which half though?
He should have done better with that shot, shouldn't he?
I'll tell you who we need to talk about. We can all bag Selena. Let's talk about our shot-shy striker who was on fire at the start of the season, and he scored 1 goal in 15 games.
Yeah, hang on. I'm mentioning Selena because it's something that's often been sort of back and forth on social media, but particularly because in the second half, as I say, I missed the subs happening, and then a good 15-20 minutes went by.
He changed position, didn't he?
Come on, if you're one of the best players at the football club, you get on the ball, you take the game by the scruff of the neck. Particularly if you're playing at a level you believe, and I believe he is, lower than what he should be. You
Yeah,
take it by the scruff, you make it happen, you drag your team kicking and swimming back into the game, or you at least try. You don't go 20 minutes like you did yesterday, where I didn't hear him once, and suddenly it goes, Selena. And I thought he got taken off. I thought he wasn't playing. No, that was genuine. I was genuinely surprised to hear his name.
It's frustrating, and Curtis touched on it yesterday with Ben and yourself. It is frustrating because he does it against the teams which we just think of 3 points formalities, like your Crews or your Accringtons or whatever. In those big games, other than Wickham away, we've not really seen it from him. And he is the highest paid player in League One.
But Stephen Parry, you can't win a game alone. You can't. It has to be a team effort.
True. But
it's a team effort. We can't just say it was one player.
There's always a catalyst, though.
You've got to have that one player that makes things
happen. The whole lot of them.
You've got to have that one player that makes things happen. And I would look to Selena to be the playmaker, to bring Bon into the game, to get the wide players, your wing backs into the game. It's all got to go through him, and it just hasn't happened. I reckon if any fan here was bankrolling Selena's wage, you'd say enough. Get him back to
the ROI on it wouldn't be too great, would it? Let's be honest. So far, you wouldn't be looking at anything.
I mean, look, do you think it is one for the comments and everyone? Do you think Selena will be here next season?
Tough one to answer.
Would McKenna and Ashton look at Selena's performance and think, well, Dijon, there's no money in the French second division. He's barely got a broadcast deal. So they're going to ask for as much money as possible. So you're looking at what, 2 million minimum, I would have thought.
Okay.
They paid for him, I think.
Stephen Parry says no. Lee Brown says nope. On to your Bond point there. We've got Ben Moore, but Bond was far too isolated. Selena never took the game to them, nor did Chaplin. Burns and Thompson couldn't get in the game, as was asked to focus more on defensive due to how Wednesday played. Safety guy, you can't become a bad player overnight. Bond is either trying too hard or has a big loss of confidence for whatever reason. So Macaulay Bond, you called him shot shy. I thought he worked incredibly hard and was a focal point for a large portion of the first half. The players around him
couldn't get hold of the ball first half. When you're that lone striker and that ball comes up to you, you have to secure it. Then you have to get people around you. And he didn't do that yesterday. I'd have took him off at half time. And we can't keep playing him just because he's one of our own. You know, goals are the currency of strikers. What is it, Matt? 1 goal in 14 games?
More than that. I think it's 1 in 15 now.
Look, I love Macaulay Bonne. He's town through and through, but you have to take people out of the firing line.
Yeah.
Next week, I'd go with 2 up front at home. I would go with James Norwood, and I would go with Joe Pigott. The time has come for Pigott to have a proper shot at it, not 10 minutes at the end of a game, coming on. Because if you don't play him now, like Kieran McKenna said, there's going to be time for everybody. You're not going to play him, and even look against Gillingham and Doncaster, or he might think I'll keep with Macaulay Bonne because we're playing the bottom 2 teams in the league who ship goals for fun. But I think he needs to be taken out of the firing line, and Pigott needs to be given a bit of a chance.
Yeah,
and Norwood, because Norwood was on fire. He got Player of the Month, and now he's out of the team. And we seem gone to that one up front again that we had under Cook, and it didn't work. And it didn't work yesterday. He was too isolated. To give him his credit, he was a little bit isolated, but I did think when the ball come to him, you got to get hold of it more.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, here's no one for the comments then. Would you buy Macaulay Bonne? I think we said on the Friday show, didn't we? When McKenna said, he's having a good season. I was like, well, he had the first 2 months of the season, he was really good. I don't think since October onwards, he's been very good in terms of...
Our front line could look a whole lot different by the first game of next season. I think that's the area of the pitch in the summer that he's going to look at, because you've got Bond's a lone player, Jackson's out of contract, Norwood's got another 12 months, and Joe Pigott's just played no football. And then you've got Tyrese Simpson, who's apparently pissing about, won't sign his new contract. So he's going to be left to rot in the 23s if he's not careful, because he's had some bad advice from his agent.
It's a weird situation, wasn't it? But I mean, I just think I think that's probably the reason why we all thought that we'd try and buy Bond, didn't we, in January? And I think that's the reason why they just extended the loan, because...
How much would you pay, Matt? How much would you pay if you could...
That's a good question.
Not more than a million.
1 in 15?
Not more than $1 million for me.
No, I agree. I think if he'd continued on that hot streak, maybe QPR would have taken him back. But look, Lyndon Dykes scored 2 yesterday, didn't he? In that 4-0 win over Reading for them at QPR. So he's well down the pecking order there, and maybe that's why he's with us, because he's shown a window of really good form, And he had that extra oomph, didn't he, from the fact that he put on the shirt of the club that he supports. And it's just kind of
it's something for you. Is it not just simply sort of assigning player responsibility and roles? So, you talk about Bond there and fairly good points. But then you look about the supporting cast around him. And are you getting enough goals from the supporting cast? So, Sonny Aluko, a name that keeps coming up. Are you getting enough from Sonny Aluko when he plays in that number 10? If we're saying goals are the currency, because the goals, that's it as a number 10.
Great shout there from Josh Russell. I talked about him last week on this pod, and I've rated him before. If you look at Colby Bishop last Saturday when he played that lone striker's role, for a team like Accrington, Matt, who don't have a lot of the ball, I thought he was excellent. He would be someone I'd be targeting in the summer. If you're going to play one striker, Martin.
Now look at the track record of us and Stanley players. I'm fine. That's fine.
I think
Burgess can't get a game that cost nearly £1 million. I'm all right. Dipping back into that well. But Sonny Aluko, a name that keeps coming up in the chat as a number 10. Are you then getting enough from a player like him? Does he warrant a selection further if he's not getting the goals in number 10, Matt?
I think, good point. I mean, we didn't think he was signing as a 10, did we? I mean, he's kind of fallen into that role by accident after Mogul played him there in that Sunderland game. I don't think he's ever been a big scorer, Luca. I mean, maybe 8 to 10 maybe in a season. I thought he was to come in as wide. I mean, that's the frustration with Selena, isn't it? Taking it back there again. You thought he would be the catalyst for assists or using that speed for counter-attacks. But it just hasn't happened. But I mean, it's not all down to Macaulay, right? You do need to feed him. But I do feel like Macaulay doesn't do what Kane did in the Euros last season when he hadn't scored in the tournament. Then he started coming deeper to get the ball and to try and make something happen. Macaulay doesn't really do that for me. What do you think? Do you think I think he needs the ball on the plate a little bit for him?
Well, a lot of his goals, he's a 6-yard box player, isn't
he? Yeah, but I mean, it's not had like the one goal I think about which he really made happen was that ball over the top from Kane, wasn't it, against MK? He rifled it into the roof of the net. That was a fantastic goal.
Just to interrupt you, sorry. Pete O'Rourke, who is a freelance sports journalist, has tweeted out Ipswich Town have mutually terminated John Nolan to contract.
Nothing on the club website.
No, I've looked at there. I'm just reporting what has come up. So I've looked at the club website, nothing on there. Club media, nothing on there. But Pete O'Rourke, so take it for whatever you will, but he has tweeted that John
Not surprised if they have.
Well, it does add further speculation for my dream to happen. Mr. Matete, come on down. Your table is ready.
Yesterday for Fleetwood as well.
I know. I know. Where there's
and I was told on Friday night from Ian, who we have on the cricket show, Matt.
Yeah.
The Fleetwood Town Supporters Club chairman, who he's friends with, messaged him saying Town are going to sign him. So let's wait.
I'm in the mood for dancing.
Right. So they've cleared Nolan's wages in order to get Matete in potentially.
Romancing.
I mean, look, going back to Aluko, I think the number 10 position, it's been a bit like musical chairs, Matt, through the season. We've not really had one player nailed down in that position. Chaplin had a good run, didn't he, under Cook, and I think he scored 5 or 6 goals. Then Selena's had a bit. Look, the one player I would have signed in the summer would have been Scott Twine. He would have played in that role, and he's doing it for MK. And then somebody in the chat, we should sign him in the summer. Yeah, he's heading to the championship. He's heading to the championship, Scott Twine is.
Yeah.
He's only here for one season, and then he'll go there.
Yeah.
You'll probably see him on the 12th, Matt. He'll probably bang one in from about 30 yards.
I'll keep my eyes on the John Nolan developing situation. So if I do see anything come up before the end of the show, I will, of course, flag it. But Craig at Portsmouth makes a good point here. People who slagged Edwards off are giving Aluko a free ride. They both are part of our attack and have to deliver goals and assists. Fair point?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, we do like Edwards, don't we? I don't think anyone here doesn't like Edwards. I just
got a question for both of you.
Yeah, great.
And I was talking on the way home last night, and I watched Dominic Thompson yesterday, and I thought he was okay.
Not in
Kyle Edwards could play that role, Martin. Watching that game there yesterday, I'm thinking, you've got a player there, Kieran, on the bench, and he's our own player that we've signed, and I think he could play that role. You've got 17, 18 games to go, but now we've obviously signed Thompson, and he's probably going to play the majority of the games. But I think there's a player there right under your nose. If you're playing this 3-5-2 system, he's good going forward. Defensively, I think Kyle Edwards works really, really hard. So
I've seen
I don't
Carlo
know.
put more tackles in than I have crosses. That's what I've been saying since for the last couple of months. It's true. He's probably a better defender than he's an attacker. But yeah, I Dominic Thompson, Matt. Obviously, I did message saying not for me during the first half.
Well, this was after 20 minutes, wasn't it? And you've
That
got
wasn't
making big decisions after 20 minutes.
You're kind of speaking like the
Take
world
off.
speaks these days, where you make an opinion and that's it. That wasn't an opinion on the player for the rest of his time in town. That was in this game.
Colin in the chat, pump the brakes. We will not be winning the next 5 games.
Well,
Just pump the brakes, please.
But Dominic Thompson's a name that kept coming up on the socials and chats because obviously he made a debut yesterday. How did you view that debut? Me personally, I thought he grew into it, but defensively, if he stops the cross, we stop the goal. Stop the cross, there's no goal. It's simple as that.
Should we talk about the goal? Should we talk about the goal?
Let's do it. Yeah.
We started okay the first 10. Then George Edmondson thinks he's prime Maldini. Goes wandering up the left wing, taking players on left, right, and centre. And another thing about George Edmondson, captaincy weighing too heavy on him, I think, personally. You know, concentrate on just playing your football. He's had a drop-off the last 2 or 3 games, Matt. I think, personally. Yeah, I do. I didn't think he was great.
He does not travel away from home well. I told you this a couple of weeks ago. There's something about the preparation that is not great because Edmondson away from home is very inconsistent.
Someone made a very good point on Twitter last night. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was one of the Talking Town crew. But someone said if Toto had done the back pass at Bolton and the mistake yesterday at Hillsborough, he'd have been absolutely crucified.
It's true. I
mean,
yeah,
he would have been.
So look, he's lost the ball now.
However,
you've got the still there, and I do agree. We've said this before. If you stop at source, stop that cross, we're not going to concede the goal. But look down the bottom in that picture there, Martin. Look where Wes Burns is.
Yeah.
Now,
he's switched off,
if you run it on when you actually watch it, he lets him go. But then if you look at Wolfenden and you've got JD in the middle there, they're marking 2 players. They need to talk to each other. One of them can drop, and then it's just a catalogue of errors, isn't it? But Wes Burns,
But stop the cross, stop the goal.
I agree. But goals...
Simple as that. All of it.
If Wes Burns does his job, it's not a goal. If he follows his man, if he tracks his man into the box, he won't score.
I wonder if they're roommates on away days because both of them always play poorly away from home. I'm saying that now. I wonder if they're roommates because
Burns and Edmondson.
Because the pair of them away from home, Bolton yesterday,
other games this year. Away from home. Don't be stupid.
Not all away games, but the last couple of, particularly northern ones, we don't travel well. Look at the results. The results.
Hang on, we don't travel up on the day. We don't arrive at the ground an hour and a half before the game. What the supporters do.
That's the point I've been making for the last couple of weeks. That's the point. When you look, if you had a horse race, right, won every single home race, and every time you took it up north, it didn't win, you would think about its travel, its food, whatever it was doing when it's traveling. It isn't doing this horse a lot of good. Whatever's happening, away days, particularly up north, have not been good for us this year.
Well,
you can't just say every team up north is going to beat us. That's the way it is. That's my point. That's my point here. You're not just rocking up in the day, but what are you doing in your preparation, in your sleep pattern, in whatever? Because you look at the games we've lost up north. They've all been individual or collective.
Small margins. Yeah, but we do need to realise we're a League One team. We're not Real Madrid. We're not going to win every week. We're just inconsistent, Martin, all over the pitch.
What the Northern games in? Wigan, 1-1. Sunderland, we lost 2-0. Sheffield Wednesday, we lost 1-0.
Accrington, 2-1.
Are we counting Burton? It's Midlands, isn't it?
2-1 loss. Dominated that game. Made a mistake.
2-1. Yeah, Bolton 2-0.
Plymouth was a far one. Didn't do well that day. Matt Penny had 2 shockers.
We've not been to Fleetwood. We've not been to Morecambe. We've not been to Crewe. And we go to Doncaster. Lincoln, Northernish, 1-0 win.
Yeah, but anywhere from Ipswich is a long travel.
But I'm just looking at the results and thinking there's just a sort of consistent.
I agree with Lee Bayliss. It's nothing to do with the travelling. It's about the mindset. You got to get your head right.
Yeah.
But doesn't that factor into it? Like I made a joke last.
Oldham was a win, wasn't it? In the North. Barrow.
Shocking.
I still on the mat, can you?
Absolute shocking. But just as Rich says though, every single away day. I'll drop a link now. Every single away day is an awful away day.
Imagine away days actually having been on England youth team away days is actually a bit more regimented because everyone's in the same building. So it's lights out at 10 or whatever it might be. So everyone gets their rest and all that. So it's actually, when everyone's together, you'd actually imagine the discipline of dinner time, chill time, going to bed is actually probably managed by the manager and the coaching staff. When you're at home, you just doing what you want. But it's a weird one. Weird conundrum. I mean, certainly the proof's in the pudding. Yeah, we haven't travelled.
The results aren't great away, particularly the northern.
I don't agree with Matchday on there about when he goes to long distance of work, take a few days to catch up. These players are mollycoddled. It's not like you're a lorry driver and you're fucking going away and you've got to sleep in your cab. They get everything given to them. They got their own chef. They got everything. We make too many excuses sometimes.
We do.
Players.
Yeah, Connor told us that, didn't they?
They have to do it themselves sometimes. You have to
Chef
be better.
Piggy. Chef Piggy in the back of the coach there.
Well,
but yeah. The thing is, well, that's a conversation. Yeah, Chef Piggy. I want to find out what's going on there.
It's still early days for McKenna, and if you win these next 2 games, it'll be 6 wins from 8. It'll be 18 points from 24. It's the start of the season. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that is why we are playing catch up, and we'll be doing it all season.
It's the first 3 games, isn't it? It's where we took 1 point from 9, and we should, that is the gap right now. That's
Trevor Amos says in the chat, well, how do Plymouth manage them when they go away?
But in all due respect, Plymouth are obviously a different football club to Ipswich Town. People don't look at the fixtures.
You're still travelling the same. You're still travelling, Martin.
Well, you're absolutely but people are different. I'm just trying to sort of ascertain what the root cause of repeated.
There is one root cause for Northern games, and I spoke to him on the radio yesterday, and his name's Alex Maffin. I said to him, "We need to ban you, Alex, from away games because every time you turn up, we lose." And you know what he said to me? He said, "Rich, I'm going to Doncaster. If we lose to them, I'll pack it in."
Well, yeah.
I've got the first few games of the start of the season. So we didn't actually win a game, did we, until September the 18th? So Morecambe was 2-2. Then we lost at Burton 2-1. Same result at Cheltenham. Were we 2 up against MK and dropped a 2-goal lead?
Yeah.
Is that the game?
At home.
Yeah.
IFC as well.
Then the following next week, against Wimbledon, that was again 2-2. Then we got hammered by Bolton 5-2. Then we eventually pick up a 1-0 win.
Stevenage got beat. Not Stevenage. Cheltenham midweek.
Yeah.
Got beat.
Yeah.
Travel again.
Process, wasn't it? We were in the gelling process at this point. Annoying. Massively.
When Jim Magilton was in one season we were great at home and hardly could win away, and then the next season it turned around. We could hardly win at home, and then we had a great away record. So
was the gelling process really Cook hammering home 4-2, 3-1, and no one wanted to play that formation? We'll never know.
From Instagram or Twitter alone, maybe it's just George Edmondson's karaoke keeping them all up at night. Maybe simple as that. We need to sort of take the microphone away from George. Zooton's Valerie.
I don't think they're in the bar till 1 a.m. are they?
I didn't say bar.
One more song.
Whoa, I didn't say bar because I think George actually was in the gym on one of the karaoke tracks I saw. But yeah,
not allowed fun as well. But I mean, they won't be in bars or anything. But yeah,
no one said bar. Nobody said bar.
I don't know why we're travel sick though. I mean,
a dentist chair in it.
yeah.
It's annoying, Martin. If we win them home games, if we beat Morecambe, if we beat MK, and we beat AFC Wimbledon,
I've got it here. So we've got Gillingham next week, then we go Doncaster, then we're at MK. So I would like to think we could get 6 points right in those 2 away games. The Gillingham and Doncaster. MK is going to be difficult.
So what are we going to do? We're going to sit here on that Sunday, Matt, when we lost to MK and say it was the travelling. Fuck me, it's just up the road.
Yeah. Then it's Burton and Cheltenham at home. Then we go to Morecambe. I mean, it's very winnable games there for. I mean, it's easier said than done on paper. We found out from the start of the season. Then we go Fleetwood. Then it's Lincoln and Portsmouth at home. Oxford away, 6-pointer. Plymouth Argyle at home, 6-pointer, I suppose. Then you've got Cambridge at home, and you're on the end of the season.
Yeah, Colbrooks, Charlton, we didn't turn up there. But we won out on the travel.
That was possibly the worst away performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, you quite like travel, and you are sort of taking a joke with it. But if it wasn't as important, they would go up on the day. They would go because it is an important thing that football clubs do plan meticulously because it is important.
Well, Connor Chaplin told us they went down on the Thursday to Plymouth, didn't they, for the Saturday game?
Yeah.
Mike makes a very good point there, actually, Mike Dean. I think if we can't win more than 2 in a row, we don't deserve to get in the playoffs.
True.
Absolutely. There's no point sitting there going, well, 3 or 4 games is quite difficult. There's clubs around us that are winning 3 or 4 games on the stick.
Is it Mansfield have got just equalled or done a club record 8 wins in a row under Brian Clough? Absolutely. Right, Fisherman, welcome in. Nigel, sorry.
That's since they slipped Ollie Hawkins to the centre-back, Martin, that's why.
All right, Mike, how you doing?
Hello, Mike, how you doing?
All right, boys, how you doing?
Good.
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, yeah, not too bad. I just come back from my son's kickboxing grading, so I was listening to you on the way.
Lovely. What do you make of the world of Ipswich Town Football Club?
I know what Richard's saying about, it's the modern day football to change teams and stuff, change players and that. But when I saw the lineup, I was like, that's it. I had no faith in that lineup. I really didn't, especially the midfield. For me, Mazzuni not good enough. He shouldn't have even started. I know he got better in the second half, but that was a dead game, man. Selena, I wouldn't sign him at the end of the season. I've said it many times. It's 1 game in 4 he has a good game, and it's just he's a luxury player that I'd rather get rid of and keep. I know it's all going to go against a few players and stuff.
Mike, what changes would you make yesterday? Because he had to make obviously the left back, and the centre midfield, and I think we would have all agreed that Chaplin, Selena, and Bond would probably come in.
Yeah, but okay, this is my point.
Jackson
right?
in. Would you have played your mate Jackson?
Right, this is the thing, right? With too many changes. You had Jackson come in against Accrington, right? And everybody praised him for the goal and done this, and yet he's not even on the bench yesterday. Don't make no sense to me. Right? You've got
on there, Mike. To be fair to Kieran, he had to have
but you talk about but the thing is, this is the problem with too many changes. You keep changing and stuff. And formation, what is that with that formation? We were doing really well with our with our 3-5-2 or 4-3-3, 3-4-3 or whatever. And yet again, yesterday formation changes. We went back to a bit. Yesterday was like watching Cook and Lambert again. One up front. Yeah, go on.
So you got this was the team at Wimbledon. I was trying to know what changes you would and would not have made. Walton was in goal. Obviously, he kept his place. Danassian, Wolfenden, Edmondson, Burns, they all kept their place. Vincent Young suspended. So you had to have one change.
The new left back was always going to come in.
Right. So that's one change. Backinson and Carroll. Obviously, Carroll was a second forced change because his partner, although it wasn't him giving birth, his partner was giving birth. Aluko, Jackson, and Norwood. So out of those last 3, which were, not forced changes, would you have kept all 3 in the team? Jackson, Norwood, and Aluko? What would you have done? Because you had.
Well, I would have played one up front. Never would play one up front, no matter whether we're away from home or if we're playing 3 at the back. You don't play one up front.
So you would have.
Edmondson. Richard's right. Edmondson yesterday. Do you know what? He's not been having some great games of late, and maybe being captain. Maybe I said make Edmondson captain. Maybe he's not. I'm happy to sit here and say maybe Edmondson's not captain material. Maybe that's too heavy on his shoulders. But as a centre back, you don't run into traffic like he did yesterday. That first goal was so easily avoidable. And why was Burns jogging back like there was? Burns for me yesterday didn't have a great game. I've watched that goal 3 or 4 times back, and that player just goes past Burns, and Burns is still jogging. That's just not how you play.
Don't depress yourself. Watch it 4 or 5 times.
You say about our midfield, right? Why weren't Fraser chosen? He would have put some grit in that midfield.
Well, he's still carrying an injury.
Well, that's not the consensus. He's training every day.
He has been injured. That's why he's not been involved.
He's got a knee injury.
He's still training, isn't he? He's fit to train. If he's fit to train, he's fit to play, surely.
Well, training and playing a competitive game, though, Matt, are 2 completely different things.
What about Norwood?
Well, McKenna did say that he wanted the training sessions to be more intense than the actual game. So when you actually get to game time, you're going to be used to the tempo and the flow of it. So, I don't know.
I would have played Fraser ahead of El Mazzuni. El Mazzuni wouldn't have been my first choice under any circumstances. I'd have played Harper. And I know Harper's hasn't set the world alight, but at least he's not holding, is he? Whereas this new lad that's come in, supposedly, is a holding mid, which would have meant Harper could have got forward more. There was no supply to Bond. It was the most disjointed performance I've seen for a long time, and it reminded me of Cook's era. Early games, and like I said, Rich said, yeah, we know these early games that we had in this season is going to hurt us, but the season ain't over yet. We've still got 51 points to play for, and I'm not saying that we are going to win every game. And I never said that we will, we'd go the rest of the season unbeaten. The reality is, Oxford banging in. I mean, they put 7 past some team yesterday. I can't remember at Gillingham, wasn't it?
Mm.
And then you had Bolton giving Sunderland an absolute whooping.
Yeah.
This league's mad.
It is, yeah.
4 penalties yesterday.
We've had 4 penalties in 4 years, have we?
No, but you need tricky players.
You've got to get players in the box for that.
You have. So Elmis, Rich, is he getting an unfair ride here today? Was he the reason why we lost the game yesterday?
No, he wasn't the reason. I said at the time, I said to Colin,
Man of the match. Sorry, I just see a comment on there saying Elmis man of the match. Oh my days!
I thought second half.
He did a right second half.
He came into the game more. I would have actually kept him on.
He came into the game, but after that first half performance, let's be honest, that weren't great.
Him out, Mike. We could have made 10 outfield changes in that first half because they were all poor. It's not just a young lad in midfield.
Oh, I'm not. No, but if you come in, you start. No, I would never have picked him.
From the cold. This is another thing. He's coming from the cold. He ain't played for. When did he last play in the FA Cup?
Yes,
at Barrow. That was his last appearance, wasn't it? So
yeah, but he's been given enough chances for me, Elmis. I just think he's just not. He's not a player that's going to get us promotion. I would have played Harper over him, and I haven't been that impressed with Harper, but I'd have played Harper over him.
All right. Okay, Mike, as always, love to hear from you. Look after yourself. We'll bring Stephen in. Mr. Parry's always a positive influence. Steve, you've heard the lads. You've heard Mike.
No,
what do you make? What do you make of him?
I think we were all getting a bit too overexcited. Maybe we shouldn't have got a bit too overexcited, knowing our team. But Crunch is right. At the end of the start of the season killed us, and we've been clawing that back ever since September. We've been trying to claw that back ever since September. Then we started getting on a positive direction. Then it went down again, and we've slipped back again. And now Kieran McKenna's come in. At the end of the day, if you look at what he's got, it's 4 wins in 6 games. Do that over the season, that's 91 points. So to say you can't go up winning 2, losing 1, yes, you can, because that's 91 points over the season. So you can do it. So it doesn't worry me that we lost. It annoys me we lost because it's the way we lost, not the fact we lost. Because losing to Sheffield Wednesday isn't a big deal. Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday beat a lot of teams. I know people think they're a bit of a soft underbelly, but you've got to remember that was a stronger Sheffield Wednesday team than what we played at our patch. They had Windass in there. They had two new centre backs in there. Even Wednesday players didn't think they were going to play them 2 new centre backs. So it was a lot stronger than what they were when they were at our place. All I'm thinking now is, let's do the best we can.
Yeah,
I think we're all pretty much there. There's a chance, but it's a very small one. But even if it's just 3 or 5%, it's a chance. And so long as we've got a chance, until it's mathematically impossible, we've got to go for it, no matter what. I'm not saying we'll make it, but what I think what'll happen now is he's going to have a look. And I agree. I'm actually agreeing with Crunch. I think next season we might see a different strike force. I think they could all go. I think none of them have really turned. I know Norwood's played quite well.
That's the disappointing thing, Stephen, yesterday. You say about we can still go for it. That's what disappointed me yesterday on a big game like that. And I know Wednesday, Matt said, they've lost 1 game at home all season. I know that. But we never really went for it, did we, yesterday? We were too safe.
I watched the match back live. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, it was tepid. It really was. It didn't look like we were putting a glove on them. I thought that first early goal, granted, there was mistakes galore. There should not have been 2 players and 1 striker. It looked like they were terrified of him. So they put 2 on him. Why, I don't know. He didn't need 2. Burns didn't do any running. Edmondson made a mistake. The cross could have been cut out. There was a catalogue of errors that could have stopped that goal. And that goal, after 6 minutes, it probably did affect us. It was early on in the game. They were probably a bit sleepy. They probably thought... Yeah, it's trying to get in. Back And they probably were a bit sleepy. And I thought, they got caught. If that attack happened about 35, 40 minutes, I don't think it would have happened. I think it's because it was 6 minutes and early on in the game we got caught napping. And unfortunately we couldn't get our way back into it because we just looked lethargic. I don't think that's going to be us going forward. I think he's going to get them in and say, look, this was shit. He's got to say certain things to the press and he's got to G it up like it was a good performance. That's expectation management. He can't go out there and say that was a bunch of shit, wasn't it? We'd love him to say that, but he's not going to because he's got to keep his players positive as well. So he's going to play expectation management. So when players listen to him, they go, oh, got something, get something. He saw some positives. But trust me, he's going to, pretty sure when they go in on Monday, he's going to lay into him and say that was fucking shite. We won't see that, but he's going to, like your boss does when you make a mistake. So the top of it, I just look at it this way, is we can try and get the best we can. But I think he's going to now start looking about building for next year. And I do think there's going to be some, there's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be wholesale changes. We've probably got a good 12, 15 players that will be here, that was here now, that will be here next year, which is different to the start of this season, where we had like 4. But at one stage, I think we had 1 who was here from last year. There's been more integrated throughout the season, but I think at the start of the season, there was like 1 who was here last year. What's that, a change of 11 to 10 players, you know what I mean? Just for a first team squad. So I think there's going to be more. We're probably going to have about 12 or 15, but those around that will get thrown in and out, they'll change. And I think we'll be on a better platform beginning of next year to have a better start. And if we get that better start, I see us carrying it on throughout the season. That's the way I think it's going to play out. But there's still a chance this year, and I wouldn't rule it out, even if it's just a 5% chance.
Absolutely. Did you ever have this in the bingo game, Steve, where you had to support a bingo caller publicly and then behind the scenes really lay into him? We all know.
No.
Fair enough. And Ipswich Jules says, cats, fire alarms, what's next? Harry, you're a man of many talents.
You'll just look at my missus hasn't come, but no, but I just think sometimes we get a bit, I think Milt's had it spot on. Sometimes we're a bit too high, and then when we lose, we're a bit too low. I think we need to start balancing it out a little bit more and get excited when we win, of course. And when we have performances like that, we can be annoyed and we can be angry, but don't let that rule us. And I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on social media that shouldn't be on social media. Backinson, he'd been here for 2 days, for God's sake. What do you expect him to do? John Thompson, he'd been here 2 days. Backinson's played more football in 7 days than some players have played all season.
True.
He's only been here a week.
True.
We all had a big. It was a point that was made on Twitter. We all had a big go at Aluko at Newport County when he played there, and said he was shit, weren't he? Why did he get it? Now look what they said about Aluko. Some people he's undroppable. So why can't Backinson and Thompson be like that? Have a slow start and then boom, they're in. We just don't know how it's going to pan out. We didn't know how Aluko was panned out, so we don't know how these players are going to pan out. I just think for Backinson, it was too much for 1 week, and I think he burnt himself out. At the end of the day, he was falling down, getting cramp at the end of the game. He
was. Steve, as always, a pleasure. Look after yourself. All the best. Matt Stannard, thing is, I don't mind losing if we put a shift in, and I'm sorry I can't say they did that yesterday. That's why I get low. Just want to feel they give it all to their win. Ian, I just need we go again for a full house. EJ Norris, when you lose, it does ruin your weekend or week, don't it? Does. It really does. I agree with you, EJ. I fear K-Mac is a Paul Lambert type manager, says Graham. Matt, what would you say to Graham there?
Why is he thinking McKenna's a Paul Lambert type manager? And what is a Paul Lambert type manager?
A winner, Matt. A winner.
Born winner. Here he is. Look, the backdrop's here. No, I think McKenna's carving out his own little niche there. Far too early. He's 6 games into his managerial career, having come out of the coaching staff at United. So don't go comparing him to Paul Lambert, for Christ's sake. Right,
we're an hour and 4 minutes into the show. We've not got a long left. We've got 3 people waiting. This is why Talking Town Extra Time tomorrow night, 8:30 was born, so we can get more people on to have their say. The 3 people are Colin, Lloyd, Callie. I will give you 2 boys A, B, or C. I will not tell you which one's A, which one's B or C. The other 2 will have to come on tomorrow night's show. One will feature on this C. Your C today is from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Well, Coventry. C for
Sorry,
Coventry.
sorry.
There we go.
Come in, our Callie from Coventry. What a
How
show
we
blind
doing?
date was. What a show blind
All right,
date really
Callie.
was.
You ain't got rats. You ain't got rats running around your house if the old bin man ain't been up there, have you?
No, listen, I paid. There's a company, private company, so you pay them like 10 quid or 2 bins for 15. I've just been sending the invoice to the my council. I'm saying, well, this is my council tax. I'm going to cancel the direct debit. I'm going to give you a payment minus this. So I ain't heard nothing bad yet. So I may have a letter in a couple of weeks saying I'm going to court or whatever, but we'll see.
Keep us updated on that story. I'd like to hear.
But no, they're on strike till April. They've cut the staff and whatever. So yeah, it's a bit shit. They are allowing you to drop it off to other sites, but the thing is, recycling, yeah. But putting the bloody bin waste into my car and taking it, are you paying to valet my car after as well? No, thank you.
Yeah.
So no, forget that. But yeah, sorry. That was garbage, as was what was seen on the pitch yesterday.
Well, I
Beautiful
want to
segue.
talk to you about that because obviously yesterday you did, or at some point you have tweeted about Raheem Harper. You put our own mistakes cost us today. We invited the pressure and not sure why Idris was subbing. A better of the two. Only JD, Wolf, Thompson, and Idris gets above a 6. Not sure Backinson is an upgrade on Raheem either. But one thing is for sure, we need Sam back ASAP. That is from your Twitter account. Talk to us then about Raheem Harper, Tyreek Backinson. How do you see that, and what do you think is going on?
I think it's an odd signing. I think you're going to bring a player in who is basically, when you heard about what this player is and what he's about, they were describing what we heard from West Brom fans about Raheem Harper when he come in the summer. So you were bringing a player on loan who's a couple of years older. When you've got a player there who's younger, our own player as well, that's signed to a long-term contract with us. And okay, I know it's only been 2 games and a cameo appearance as well. So 2 and a bit games or whatever. Mm-hmm. But certainly, I mean, I wasn't at Wimbledon. I watched it on iFollow, but I was there. So this is the first time I saw the cameo, but the first time I saw his 90 minutes in person, and I was really disappointed. I was really, really disappointed. When I think about the physicality in the midfield, you're going up against people like Barry Bannon. Earlier on in the season, when we actually did well, I thought Idris actually played really well against Sheffield at home.
Yeah, I agree.
When we got that 1-1, and if you remember, it was Idris and Carroll, and then Iddy come off for Harper, and Raheem gave that little bit of a push. He wants to drive and carry with the ball as well. I do get that. Yeah, he's not like a strong tackling player like Evans. He gets his critics, but Evans will dive into a tackle, as we've seen. But I didn't see none of that from Backinson yesterday, or against Wimbledon. There was too many times where he's losing the headers and the first balls against people like Barry Bannon, and you're 6 foot plus, Bannon's small. Like, where is this physicality? Like, I just don't see. It just doesn't make sense to me, this transfer, and I don't see the need for it. When you've got players there, in my opinion, we're gonna then loan out a better player, and we've got the substandard player that we're keeping, which is like, well, where's the logic in that? Let's not forget Raheem was playing Championship football as well. So okay, he hasn't really done that. Backinson hasn't hit those heights yet, and Backinson's older, so he's not played at the higher level that Raheem has. I know it sounds like I'm Raheem's bloody fan club here or whatever, but me and Martin were there. Player.
That's my job. Yeah, that's my job. Absolutely. But so what went wrong? You've heard all the guys and girls on social media on today's show. What, from your perspective, now sat here at 20-3 on the Sunday, what went wrong yesterday, and where do we go from here then, in your opinion?
I think there is. I do kind of agree with you that there's something about these travel, like particularly the Northern days, or the Midlands days, or whatever, where we just don't turn up. Everyone, and you guys, all 3 of you said it. You said it yesterday as well. Is when we don't play well, it's everyone. It's a collective thing. Yes, there were individual mistakes from the goal from Fridge, who like you said, whether he was trying to be Prime Maldini or whatever. He does that a lot of the games, but sometimes he gets away with it. Sometimes he doesn't. You think about, and then it is like the Bolton game. He played really bad at Bolton game. I don't think he was as bad yesterday, but he was certainly one of the worst players. Along with, I thought Backinson was absolutely poor. But then Burns didn't turn up, and we're in the crowd singing "Burns will tear you apart" again or whatever, and the Burns was not even on fire or anything. There was no chance of any Burns. No. So it was just I don't know. He just didn't. He didn't look like, he makes his normal, like, he's bursting down, he's busting the gut to get that. I didn't really see that, whether that's fatigue or He might have picked up a knock during the game and he's still recovering or whatever. I don't know, but I didn't see that. Sloppy mistake. We were fortunate. The scoreline did flatter us. I thought it could have been 3-0 easily. If Mendes Lang had his shooting boots on, it's 3 goals. And again, the difference was they were picking out passes and their passing was hitting it to people. So their defenders lumping it 60 yards, crossfield pass, and one of their lads is getting out the air. Fridge is hitting a 60-yard pass and it's always falling short or it's going wayward or it's something like that. And Backinson's trying these nice passes and they're just going wayward. No one was on their game. And then there's just zero attacking threat, absolute no attacking threat. Bar the Selena chance where he actually created that himself, he kind of picked it off someone, dinked away, and he should have done better, got a shot on target, player that quality. But I can't think of anything that we actually did. We had some nice play around the box and all the rest of it. The only time I really remember us running at the defence and really taking them on was your centre-back, Luke Wolford, in the 91st minute.
Yes. Should have shot.
Well, that was it. So... And then, we were speaking to JD after, and just because he looked really frustrated after the game. He was like, "Why were you frustrated? Like, what was up with you?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just one of those. Like, we could have done better." And I'm saying, "Yeah, we should have done better. Like, why are we not doing it?" Like, I don't get it. And it is people just on their off days. Even Chappers, who, we've been called. Some people have been calling out to him, make him, the permanent number 10. Everything he hit was wrong in that. I think collectively, everyone in that first half just didn't get off the bus. Maybe. I thought come out with some credit though. JD was decent as well, and like I said, I actually thought Idris was the better of the midfield too, and I was surprised to see him go off rather than Backinson, especially given Backinson dropped down and the bloody injury in the last couple of minutes. Anyway,
Sheffield Wednesday commentary said that actually they were surprised Mazzuni went off. I was thinking Mazzuni was useless at half time, but he did pick up in the second half, as Rich rightly said earlier.
Lovely turn there when he spun away from 2 of them, didn't he?
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was towards us, wasn't it? But it was like that second half from Idris was similar to when he played against Sheffield earlier on in the season, and that for me was one of Idris's best games. Like, I think when you got people like Idris and you got people like Raheem Harper, I don't understand why you're bringing in kind of bit part players like Backinson. I don't mean him any disrespect at all. Right? I don't know the guy or whatever, but from what I've seen of him as a football fan in 180 minutes plus a little cameo, he's not better than what I've seen off the other two. So I don't get it. Okay. But it's gonna be a hard task. Of course, we'll end up beating the Gillingham's, we'll end up beating Doncaster. But no, we will. But it's Milton Keynes Dons. Will we hit them right? Look at the teams above us. Bar Plymouth, like every team above us, bar Plymouth, we played them all at home, right? But we've only beaten Wickham twice, and we actually ain't beaten anyone else. So. Those things.
I was listening to the Bristol City fans when Backinson came in, and they said he's not a physical player. He can't tackle. And what I've seen in 2 games and a little bit at Portman Road when he came on against Accrington, he's powder puff.
No, he's not good enough. Like I don't. I know you can say like the jury's out on Thompson on the left back, but I actually thought he did it all right. Right, I thought he offered something well. There's enough times he was offering a good cross in the middle, and just our players aren't there. Like, just no one's in there. No one's in the box or whatever. So you can see he'll be decent. Give him a couple of training sessions. Yeah, it's just disappointing. And again, it's the striker. Like, I like Macaulay Bonne. I think again it comes down to a bit of service and a bit himself as well, because how many times can you get caught offside? Death taxes and Bonne being caught offside. Those are the guarantees in life, right? And it's just seeing him go offside time and time again. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But he was very isolated yesterday. Very, very isolated figure. Even Norwood, when he come on, he didn't really. Normally, Norwood comes on, 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, or whatever. He offers something. He didn't really offer anything for me yesterday.
Sometimes you think the subs should change the game, Callie, but when they didn't make any difference at all, did they?
No.
Do you reckon? Just to pick up Parry's point there. Newport, the difference was Aluko looked rusty against Newport. Backinson doesn't look rusty. He just doesn't look good enough. That's the difference, right?
I'm being honest. Claim after
I'm being honest. Look, he's probably there to be backup. I get it, but again, if we're saying Evans and Morsey are starting 2, which I think I don't think anyone can debate that, right? Evans and Morsey are starting 2. You got Carroll who's floating in there. Clearly, McKenna's worked with him before. He knows the lad, so he's going to keep him around there anyway. Then you're going to have Backinson, Harper, or Idris. For me, Backinson's at the bottom of that list. You know, it's Harper, Idris, Backinson in terms of ability and quality and the way we play. So I don't know.
What does Harper offer then, Cal, that you don't think Backinson does?
I think he actually drives at players as well. I think he's got a better pass.
Yeah.
Right. Even the Wimbledon game, there's too many hospital passes. Like there's too many. Like you think you can play these balls fine, but you can't. You play to your ability almost. Or I don't know. Maybe he hasn't played too much for Bristol, but when he come on, which was ironic, when he come on, which game did he come on? His first one where Evans was in our home game.
Accrington.
Accrington, that was it, right? Oh yeah, fucking hell, shithouse. Andy Holt, okay.
Oh Christ, don't start him again. I don't actually think though, Matt, it's what Backinson can do that's better than Harper necessarily, and maybe Callie can tell me if I'm right or wrong here. I think it's more the fact that you've got Harper on a 2-3 year deal, and he's your player to develop, whereas Backinson might never be your player. So while they're sort of in comparison,
McKenna didn't sign Harper. He might not fancy him.
McKenna didn't sign Backinson.
I've just looked it up. Harper hasn't actually played since the 4-1 at Wickham, where he got an assist.
There you go.
Look, that was the perfect pass for Selena's 90th minute. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Do you remember? The ball was that brilliant. It drew the keeper off the line
to the halfway line.
Like a moth to a flame. Are we actually just like Wes Burns FC? And when Wes Burns doesn't play, we might as well just pack up and go home.
No, because we got wins and we played well when he was injured. Right?
When? Where? I can't remember him. Tell me.
The record it's not so good, Callie, without him.
Yeah, but we do have players like Aluko when he come in to cover Burns on the right. He did 2 goals. Right. 2 goals against
Cambridge. Certainly go up a gear, don't we, when Burns is in a team and on fire.
Yeah, but then if we're just if like Ryan said, if we just Burns FC, what do we do on the left? Like I said on the last show when I was on you with you guys and I gave you my 11. I think it's for the Wimbledon game. I says I'd be having Edwards as left wing back, right?
I agree.
Thompson now coming in, yes, it's going to be his role. He's a Premier League player, and okay, I can't see Brentford wanting him to sit on the bench here.
No.
But then you got Matt Penny there, you've got KVY, you got Coulson, you've got Thompson, you got fucking Carl Edwards. We've got 5 potential people that can play left wing back, but we don't have. Anyone that's going to add, who adds the same thing as Burns. For me, it's only Carl Edwards.
Possibly.
No one else is going to run at teams like Burns does. I remember to the early part of the season when Edwards was first brought in, he was running at players. He lost his I think he's a confidence player as well. He hasn't found his goals or assists or anything. He got a knock, but then he's had a confidence issue as well. So when he's come back into it, he needs a few games to get into it. But I don't know, man. I just think even if we make the playoffs, and I think we will make the playoffs, you've got to beat these teams. Now, we might get a draw and might win at our place, but if we say we get Sheffield in the playoff semis or we play them at Wembley, I can't see us beating them like that.
There you go. So, let's get ourselves there first. But Cal, as always, a big pleasure talking to you.
Good to speak to you, lads.
Yeah, hope to talk to you soon. Look after yourself. Callie, was he there yesterday with yourselves, Rich?
Callie was there.
Good man. There we go. 1 hour and 17. What have we got left to mull over?
Good news is, of course, when we get to MK Dons, Moles will be back for that game, and you have to hope Evans as well.
Yeah.
The full games will be done by then, won't it?
I hope Evans is back for Saturday. You think he's got a full week? He was back in training, I think McKenna said on Thursday, but not with the group. So you hope another week, and he'll be somewhere near fitness for Saturday against Gillingham.
I think you have to think we have to beat MK, don't we?
Yeah.
That really
They're 11 points. They're 11 points clear of us, man.
Yeah, we've got to have 3 games. That has got to be 3 games back-to-back wins, isn't it? Gillingham, Donny, and MK.
Yeah, so that's got to be our first three wins on the trot. Right, we are back tomorrow, 8:30. Colin will be on first with us because he's waited patiently, and obviously we haven't had the time to fit him in. We've got Lloyd as well going to join us. Tux and TJ are your contributors, 2 new voices, 2 new opinions. Looking forward to hearing what they're going to say. James New says 4:49. Thank you very much, James. Enjoying the show. In my opinion, many players have been given too many chances in this squad. Pickett and Fraser need to go. El Mizani and Harper need more chances. And ladies are 1-0 up at half time. Well done, ladies. Who are they playing today, Richard?
Newcastle, isn't it? Is it Newcastle?
Yeah,
yes,
you're
right.
Yes, in the cup.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else before we depart?
Mogul story, crunching tackle.
All right. Okay. What is our crunching tackle today then, Richard Moss?
So, you've heard the Everton sort of. It's a bit of a circus, isn't it? Their new manager. I think it looks like it's going to be Frank Lampard. I want to talk about Wayne Rooney. You know, he turned down the chance to have an interview because he's got a job at Derby. He says, I think I'm a Premier League manager, but here and now I want to concentrate on Derby. And look, Rooney's got a lot of stick over the years, but you have to. England's leading goal scorer, great player for Man United. A lot of people said he won't be a manager. He's not a good coach. Look, the job he's done at Derby under the circumstances, Matt. You know, look at it's carnage there, isn't it? I think they're obviously court proceedings from Wickham and Middlesbrough, which is they think is hampering whoever wants to take over. I think they were losing 1-0 at half time today to Birmingham. The fans have had a march to the stadium. But I think Rooney, under the circumstances, look, fair play to him. You know, in football nowadays, there's not a lot of loyalty. You know, obviously he's got connections at Everton. He obviously came through there, and he says if he manages them one day, he'd like to manage them. But here and now, he said, they're losing 2-0 Emerson. He said that he's going to stay at Derby and he's going to see out the job. You know, it looks like we'll probably be playing them next season. You know,
Okay, yeah.
Unless they go pop, which look, I know I've seen on social media a lot of football fans. Oh yeah, get rid of Derby. No one would want to see. How long have they been on the go since the 1800s? You know, Derby County. We should look after all these football clubs because one day it could be your football club going to the wall. So Wayne Rooney, hats off for the job you're doing, and I think look, he'll be a top manager in the Premier League one day.
Yeah.
I think if they hadn't had all them points docked, they'd be quite comfortably mid-table.
Yeah, they've had a good season.
Yeah, with zero resources.
I mean, it wasn't Aluko.
He was there, yeah. He was there pre-season, wasn't he? They might lose Tom Lawrence tomorrow. I see that
300 grand was it?
300 grand, you think? But the administrators, Rooney said they've spoken to him and he's not going to go. But look, we all know what might happen because obviously when we were in administration, look, we gave Matt Holland away, Herman Riderson. Yeah. They both went for peanuts.
But with the Aluko, I brought him up because I think I read somewhere, I might be wrong in this, but he was he was all, you know, they wanted to sign Aluko, they just couldn't get it over the line because of the financial situation at Derby. So they couldn't bring the players they wanted to in the summer, which makes the job he's done even more special, doesn't it?
Really? Lloyd, they had 6 players at the start of the season.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Matt, what's the media mogul this week?
That's a nice little segue when you talk about financial issues. In Spain, Barcelona, as we know, have had huge debts rolled up, but they're still somehow buying players. So they've got Ferran Torres in from Man City for 45 mil. They're trying to get Alvaro Morata in from Juventus. But the transfer as well, a loan that's happened this week is really interesting to me. A lot of media have picked up on this. As Rich said earlier, is Adama Traore. He's coming on loan with maybe a view to buy. But he joins Martin Braithwaite, who kind of was sitting on the bench here at Barcelona. And a lot of media have said from Borough to Barca, because those two were up top, along with Britt Assombalonga for Borough in 2017-18. So you've gone from like Messi, Suarez, Griezmann to the Middlesbrough top line. So they're just a Britt Assombalonga away from replicating Middlesbrough's championship front three. But interesting little story. And Britt Assombalonga actually plays for Adama Demirspor, who we mentioned last week, and he's up top with Balotelli.
There you go. That Martin Braithwaite transfer gets bizarre by sort of the month, doesn't it? Like the money they paid and the expectation they had, and just never really done anything.
Did you see the picture? Did you see the picture with him in the Barca shirt with his guns?
Yeah.
No,
and he claims that he doesn't go to the gym. Have you seen the size of his arms?
Yeah, he's
baby oil on. Did you know he puts baby oil on his arms, Matt, when he plays?
I know that. Yes, I've heard that said on the radio. That's there you go.
He played at Portman Road in that 2-2. They scored right at the end, didn't they? Was it Bamford, 96 minute?
Yeah.
He played in that game. I remember thinking he was absolutely rapid.
I reckon our lads were using baby oil in the summer when they were up to no good.
Top shaggers, right?
Who's next? Who's next? So we had Aluko. Look, congratulations to Sonny. And congratulations to Tom Carroll. But who is the next Town player to become a father?
Well, they did say they want profile when they look at their new signings. Any plans to start a family in the next 12 months? Yes. Right, we'll sign you then. Because it's have we ever had as many as this in 1 year? I'm sure there's been loads this year, isn't there?
Yeah.
That Playford Road tap water is obviously got
What did Roy Keane say when he said, "Oh, thing he's missing because his wife's giving birth"? He goes, "Well, he's not giving birth, is he? Why is he not
birth,
playing?"
is he? Yeah. That's classic Roy Keane. In terms of the GOAT Cruncher, congratulations. You have won. Your GOAT has won GOAT of the week this week with 49%.
Do not get inflatables. If you're going to MK, that man up there, he wants to be able to see the game.
He does. Bless
You
his
wearing that
little
yellow shirt to MK?
I might do.
Yeah.
Do they still do the Junior Blue membership?
Yeah, still on the go.
Junior Blue. Yeah.
Get a little lunchbox, I think.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah,
All right.
Lunchbox.
Right. Well, popping out babies than goals, says Lloyd.
How many likes? How many likes have we got?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked. We are
Come
on. Da-da-da. We are on 45. Oh,
Click the like button.
I know. It's shocking, isn't it? Right. We're
Who's
done.
not
We're dusted.
listening?
Are we having a roast this afternoon?
No,
Don't think so.
got lamb
No,
chops
no.
later apparently.
Lamb chop? Well,
I
apparently
think
not.
we've got
good.
minted lamb
Yeah.
something and new potatoes. Them little
Just
lamb
nice.
steaks. I think the steaks.
I've got chicken thighs with braised leek. Look, I'm going to cook it. I'm going to have to go downstairs now and get my Jamie Oliver hat on. Not a big fan of his. But there we go. We're done. We're dusted. Back tomorrow at 8:30. Lloyd, Colin will be calling in because they couldn't get on the show today. Apologies. Lloyd, DM me. And Tux and TJ are your contributors tomorrow at 8:30. The F1 show beforehand. We've got a talking cricket this week. Have we not, Mr. Moss?
Yes. So tonight is the last T20. It's 2-2. England and the Windies. It's a decider. But
Ooh.
did you see that this morning, Matt? The women's Ashes. What a fantastic end that was. We should have won it. Should have won the game. We'll talk about the women. We'll talk
Surely
about
this will be the last time it's a one-dayer. Surely, because it's got to move to more of a in line with the men's game, isn't it? The Ashes.
It was a test match. It was a test match.
But it's a one-off test match. So you know, there's not
They only
multiple.
they play like some T20s. Then they have one test. I'm going to bring this up on Tuesday. The women only play 4 days. The men play 5. The women should play 5.
Totally
They
agree.
have that problem with women's boxing. They only do 2-minute rounds, and they're calling for it to have 3-minute rounds. Yeah.
Tennis, 3 sets, not 5.
I think we've got the whole team are in on Tuesday night. So 8:30. Get involved.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Right.
And
with
when I spoke to Matt yesterday, can you guess what he was doing, Martin?
wasn't in the bar. It wasn't bathing somebody.
It
Like,
was.
there you go.
It was.
At the bath. Hello, you lovely lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you know you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed,